Welcome to my Sinnoh Gym Leader Pokemon Draft.
Hi, I'm Archie, and this week me and my friends are competing in a Pokemon tournament with a twist. See, we're going to take it in turns drafting our picks, not from any pool of Pokemon, but specifically the ones used by gym leaders and Elite Four in the game Pokémon Platinum. After that, we'll be competing in double battles to see who wins a huge cash prize. Here are the 44 Pokemon, excluding duplicates, that we can pick from. All of them which you will have defeated if you have played through Platinum. We aren't forced to use the same moves, abilities or items as the gym leaders. This was just a fun way to limit the Pokemon that we can draft.
This limitation makes for an interesting metagame. Want a Tailwind setter? Well, there are only 3 in the draft, so the usually weak Vespiquen becomes a sought after pick. And with 6 players, there's no guarantee you can get what you want, so you have to plan ahead.
First, what stood out to me is the sheer amount of good offensive options. Gengar, Gyarados, Gliscor, Lucario, Alakazam. Actually, looking at the list, damage output was going to be easy to draft. But bulk?
Getting good support is essential, especially in double battles. But that's not as abundant here. Bronzong is an obvious pick. He has access to Trick Room, Light Screen, Reflect, and for bulky steel typing, hopefully he can stay around for a while, but I think he's going to be too popular of a pick, and I'm doubtful I'm going to be able to get him. But is there someone who can do something similar? But I might be able to pick up later.
Yeah, Mr. Mime. He may be creepy, but he is a fairly bulky Pokemon, the only fairy type in the draft, and he has some great moves, Light Screen and Reflect, Encore, and most excitingly, Fake Out. One of only 5 Pokemon in the draft to get it. This is the first Pokemon I'll be aiming for this draft. The next 2 picks are easy. I want a Special Sweeper and a Physical Sweeper. Feels unlikely I'll be able to net a pick as good as Gliscor, Gengar or Alakazam. But hopefully still great Pokemon like Espeon, Jolteon or Miss Magius might fly under the radar. Gyarados would be fantastic, a great answer to all the slow ground and rock Pokemon that plague the draft, one of only 2 Pokemon with the ability Intimidate. But at the end of the day, there are plenty of Pokemon strong enough to be worth using, and I'm confident I'll be able to get a few about halfway through the draft and initially focus my efforts elsewhere.
Speaking of ground and rock types, Hippowdon is a really appealing choice. With the ability to passively set up the sand, it can really help bolster other Pokemon's abilities. But is he too good? I mean, is he too obvious of a pick? Are people going to try and snipe pick me if I choose him? I think my strategy here has to be to go for something a little bit less obvious.
Magmortar or Electivire are probably my most desired picks, as both of them have the move Follow Me. What Follow Me basically does is redirect any single target move an opponent uses, meaning you can keep your other Pokemon safe, let the bulky Follow Me user take the hits instead. With the powerful Psychic types here too, I wouldn't mind grabbing a Dark type. Weavile is ideal, but I think Houndoom might be a more realistic grab.
Tailwind is a move that doubles your Pokemon speed for 5 turns. It'd be a great pickup, but there are only 3 Pokemon in the draft that get it. Do you think I could get Yanmega?
Let's look at my priority list then. Number 1, Magmortar or Electivire. Ideally Magmortar, but I'm fine with either of them. Mr. Mime next, then a Special Sweeper, then a Physical Sweeper, and at that point, I'm just going to have to try and fill any holes that are in my team. I'm going to try and prioritise any leftover Fake Out users, Tailwind setters, Dark or Flying types for their immunities, maybe even another hard-hitting Pokemon. And the moves Encore and Wide Guard are other things I would really like to be able to get. With that in mind, Raichu, Yanmega, Houndoom and Vespiquen are Pokemon I think people are going to sleep on, and maybe I'll be able to grab them in the late game. But I have no idea how this is going to play out, or what I'm going to be forced to pick. So with that in mind, let's find out how his plan plays out. Sorry to interrupt here for a second, but I just want to say thank you for coming to my first Pokemon video on the channel. If you like what you see, please like and subscribe, and let me know who you would have drafted in this tournament. Anyway, back to the video. The day came about, and all 6 of us hopped on a call. Now might be a good time to introduce my competitors. I'm already recording, just in case.
Oh, you are? Okay. I've just started now then.
What?
No!
Load of profanity.
Sorry guys.
Capaldi
Sorry
and the
guys, shouldn't
outtake.
have said your social security number.
But we just thought we were being scripted.
My bank
Oh,
details
no.
are
If you somehow didn't catch that, we have Jack, Nathan, Max, Daniel, and Adam. Jack is the one I'm most worried about. He's the best player of them all, and the organiser of this event. But any one of us could craft a team to win this. We all rolled off for order, and I'm first to pick? I had assumed I'd be middle of the pack, missing out on all the big players. My strategy was built around Pokemon I think they'd overlook. But here, at the precipice with every single Pokemon at my fingertips, do I let my plan go out the window? I do. And I pick Bronzong.
Bronzong is a very, very good Pokemon, but in retrospect, I haven't planned for a team with him in mind. Is that going to bite me in the ass?
Before I get to pick again, everybody else will get to pick twice. Snake style. Most of these picks I expect. Gliscor, Lucario, Scizor, I think might be overrated for this format. Looks like Jack is going for a snow team with a Bomber Snow and Frostlass. Interesting. But Adam takes Mr. Mime. And Max takes Magmortar. Have I messed up? But we get back to me, and Electivire is still unchosen. An instant pickup, even if I would have preferred Magmortar. I'm still kind of on track. That's a follow me user and a special tank, maybe a better special tank. And I can't believe that Alakazam is left. Gengar is left. Gyarados is left. I know I said I'd go special sweeper before physical, but I think Gyarados is my next pick. Intimidate is going to be huge here, and he will pair nicely with Electivire. More Pokemon get picked, but when we get back to me, my opponents have clearly overlooked someone because Alakazam is mine to take. He's like one of the fastest Pokemon here, and he hits like a truck. As is the last fake out user, Medicham. Definitely the worst of the 5 and not on the same level as my other picks, but I hope better than nothing. Yet more Pokemon are picked, and well, I think at this point it's worth noting Hippowdon was a very late draft for one of the best spawns here. Maybe I could have gone for a Sand team, or maybe people would have sniped me and my picks if I did that. It's too late to question it now. It's back to me for the final choice. And there are only 9 Pokemon left. Looking at the remaining Pokemon, a lot of them are not good. Golem, Cranidos, and Rhyperior are all slow, bulky rock types, which I worry will be outclassed by my opponent's picks. Steelix has the same problem, really. These would be better if I had Trick Room or a Sandstorm team planned, but I don't, and they don't match up particularly well into most big threats in the draft. Wishcash, Cherim, and Rapidash, well, if there's a way to make them work, I don't see it. But Jolteon, it's the best Pokemon here. The fact my opponents didn't pick it is strange, especially as it has the highest base speed of all the options. But I'm actually leaning towards Vespiquen. I have good offensive options already, but Vespiquen offers some useful utility. Like I said at the beginning, in a format like this, usually bad Pokemon can end up filling interesting niches. And in this case, I think Vespiquen does. It's one of the few to get the moves Tailwind and Pollen Puff. It's maybe unconventional, but this is my last pick. And with that, we have our 6. Bronzor with Levitate because I'm more afraid of ground types in this draft than fire types. He's built bulky with plenty of support moves and the unconventional Terra Normal in case I face a ghost type. Gyarados, here to set up and sweep with the help of Electivire. Some good support moves or slow Volt Switch for when he's not redirecting attacks with Follow Me. Terra Flying to avoid ground type moves, such as Gyarados' Earthquake, which also pairs nicely with his ability Motor Drive. And he's built specially defensive since Gyarados' Intimidate already lowers physical damage. I'm hoping he can stick around for a little bit. Alakazam. He's faster than everything in this draft, except Weavile, which Nathan has, Yanmegraph to 1 speed boost, which Nathan has, and Jolteon, which, well, no one has. With most people unable to bring Tailwind, as long as I'm conscious of potentially Choice Scarf Pokemon, it feels like giving Alakazam the choice specs is the right choice for big damage. Then there's Medicham, here to reset tempo with Fake Out, pick up quick kills with Bullet Punch. Focus Sash could do something with Pain Split, but to be honest, it's my worst Pokemon. Then there's Vespiquen, to get up Tailwind and be a pest with Pollen Puff and Struggle Bug. It's too late to change anything now. With my cash on the line, I get ready for tournament day. There are 2 brackets for this tournament, each with 3 of the players in total. You'll battle each of a person once, and then the winner, or in the case of a tie, whoever knocked out the most Pokemon, advances to the final to fight the winner of the other bracket. It's time to hop on call and find out who I'm playing.
And this is for the
Still a
final
while.
person in my group, and then obviously the other one will go in
Yeah,
Nathan's group.
we have to
slash
spin.
Daniel's group. We still have to spin. And it is Archie in my group. And
Sorry,
Adam.
Max.
Yeah,
You
sorry,
fucking
Max.
suck, Max.
Group of
So
life.
Archie is in group 1. And then Adam is in group 2.
How'd you know that?
Can we spin the wheel again just to make sure?
Yeah, sure.
Or second on the record.
Oh my god.
No way.
Max and Jack, not great. Max has a pretty good team, and Jack, well, he's a player to beat. But my first match is with Max. Looking at this team, it's hard to predict what strategy we'll be up against. All these Pokemon have 1 decent attack stat and 1 decent defense stat, plus most of them are fairly fast. But also, general consensus is that Max, well...
Yeah, I don't think Max is. I'm sorry, Max.
Yeah, I don't mean to be rude, Max, but...
the haters. Don't mean to be rude, Max,
cool.
but you fucking suck, dude.
Exactly.
You could. It could happen.
Yeah, you could suck. Yeah. Lose right now. Why don't you just lose right now?
Going in blind, then, I stick to my strategy, leading Dragon Dance Gyarados and Electivire to buy him time. With Max leading Scizor and Drapion, I'm actually not too scared here. I don't think either gets a move that will hit both my Pokemon for big damage, especially after Intimidate, so I'm kind of free to go Dragon Dance and follow me. Toxic Spikes and Iron Defense actually seems like a fairly good outcome here. The Spikes might break Medicham's Sash, but actually most of my team is immune to them, and the Iron Defense is potentially annoying, but not threatening, really. Because of that, I'm free to click the same moves again, and I'm met with more setup from Scizor and a redirected Raw onto Electivire, which is big. Medicham is actually a lucky draw here too. I need to kill Drapion now so Gyarados doesn't get roared, but I'm also worried that the ×2 attack and defense Scizor is a threat. So I could use Medicham to fake out the Scizor, stop him from attacking, but for some reason, I fake out Drapion, who is dead to Waterfall anyway. I'm not sure what I was thinking here. This is a total misplay. And because of this blunder, Scizor is able to Baton Pass into Machamp. And then Max sends out Magmortar, who also has Follow Me. This is bad.
Baton Pass is a move that swaps out one Pokemon with another, passing along its stat changes in the process. So now I'm facing a ×2 strength, ×2 defense Machamp with a Magmortar supporting him. Things aren't looking good.
Except, Gyarados is faster than Machamp. And it has a move that counters Follow Me. Rather than going for Waterfall, which Magmortar would redirect, I go for Earthquake, which will hit everyone, including my Medicham, who I have go for Helping Hand, sacrificing itself. But it isn't enough. With the 2x defense, Machamp lives. But so does Gyarados. My boy is dead to Life Orb or Confusion here, but he falls through to take out Miss Magius. Why not the Machamp? Well, Electivire hits it on the special side of a Volt Switch, bypassing the defense stat boost before switching into the tanky Bronzong, who survives and deals Rocky Helmet damage back. And I also know Machamp is slow. With a Choice Specs boosted Dazzling Gleam, Machamp falls and Gallade is brought down to low health, nearly dying to Bronzong after. But I was hoping it would kill. At this point, I'm assuming Alakazam gets hit with a Bullet Punch, but I still feel safe since Electivire's in the back and can wrap things up. But I needn't worry, as Max reveals that Scizor has no attacking moves. It was purely there to set up for Machamp. And with that, I've won. Now on to Jack. This will be the fight that makes or breaks my performance here. Without a doubt, Jack is the most experienced opponent I could go up against. I get a chance to watch his battle against Max first. Hail Abomasnow means that his Froslass can get 100% accurate Blizzards off and fast, a move that hits both opposing Pokemon, negating Follow Me strats. His Raichu has Fake Out, meaning whenever he comes out, one of my Pokemon can't attack that turn. Dusclops bulky as Sin with an Eviolite, and if he sets up Trick Room, my fast Alakazam and Dragon Dancing Gyarados are suddenly moving last. If I can set up before Espeon and Flareon come out, they aren't as scary, but because that seems unlikely, they could deal big damage to me instead. So with that in mind, who do I lead? Alakazam is the best choice most of the time. Shadow Ball kills Frostlass if he leads the Hail Duo, Dusclops if he wants to set up Trick Room, or Espeon if he's hoping to stop me from setting up hazards, even though I'm not running them anyway. But if Raichu comes out, Alakazam would get hit with a Fake Out, could be knocked out early. I think Jack is going to lead Dusclops and Raichu, so anticipating that, I lead my more expendable Vespiquen and Medicham, intending to chip away at his team and stall out the Trick Room. I predicted wrong. Facing a Bomberstone Frostlass, this is a really bad matchup. You can actually see my face right now as I'm realising just how bad of a starting position this is. My Vespiquen is weak to Ice moves, and I can't Fake Out Frostlass because it's a Ghost type. But then if I switch, something has taken 1, maybe even 2 Stab Blizzards. What I need right now is a hero. A bulky Steel type who can eat these Blizzards and boost my team to victory. Bronzong, it's your time to shine. Oh no. With Pain Split, I can keep Medicham around a little longer to do a little more damage, but I am in a terrible position here. There's nothing else I can really switch in, but with one half of my team useless, Medicham alone can't do anything. I need my Bronzong to unfreeze. Jack withdraws a Bomber Snow to bring in Espeon, another special attacking threat on the board. With another Blizzard, Medicham is gone. Whilst Bronzong stays frozen, I send in Alakazam fast enough at least to take out one of these Pokemon. And the Frostlass finally falls, though Espeon nearly takes out my Alakazam. But now, it's time. For 3 turns, my bell has slumbered. For 3 turns, I've been fighting with only half a board. For 3 turns, we have been letting Jack win. But now, surely, he... Fine. Why is one of them called Biden and the other one called Espeon?
Well, the other one's president.
Is Espeon the next president of the United States?
Yeah. Yes.
President Trump, what are your plans to address climate change?
I do love the environment, but what I want is the cleanest, crystal clear water, the cleanest air, and we have the best carbon emission numbers that we've had in 35 years. The Paris Accord, I took us out because we were going to have to spend trillions of dollars, and we were treated very unfairly. They were going to take away our businesses. I will not sacrifice tens of millions of jobs, thousands and thousands of companies because of the Paris Accord.
Espeon, how would you respond?
I go for Shadow Ball on the Espeon, predicting a Protect from Dusclops, which kind of pays off. Espeon gets swapped into Flareon, who eats the hit, but gets a special defense drop. But then Jack goes Terra Normal instead of Protecting, and is able to set up Trick Room. With that, my Alakazam is now useless on the field, slow, and with poor damage output. But what about my Bell? Well, now Dusclops is normal type, he can be hit with Body Press, and unlike Alakazam, the Trick Room benefits a Pokemon like Bronzong. This is the 4th round of him being frozen. Next turn, I need him to fall. Switching to Gyarados lowers the opponent's attacks, which is nice, and he should be an okay match against Flareon's attacks, especially since it doesn't seem to be running Guts. But now it's time. It was written in ancient tomes by trainers long forgotten, but only one Pokemon could save the day here. When the great bell falls, his chime shall be heard across Sinnoh. The sound of hope shall return to its people. I think maybe Bronzor was not a good pick for this team, and unfortunately his death will not be the last. I managed to take down Flareon, but in Trick Room Electivire is outspared and killed by Joe Biden Dusclops again, the Grim Reaper for my team. I'm able to stall Trick Room, but not Aurora Veil, which means Dusclops is still at half health when he burns Gyarados. My final misplay is not healing Gyarados at this point with Pollen Puff, but instead going for a pointless Struggle Bug. And with all my Pokemon so low, Gyarados burned, and Raichu still waiting in the back, it's over. A good game, well fought. This may have not been the success story I was hoping for, but I still had fun playing. What went wrong though? What can I improve for next time? Well, firstly, Jack just played better than me. In retrospect, I made a few big misplays, some of which were avoidable and some of which were unlucky guesses. Really, I needed to get rid of his Dusclops earlier, and should have gone for Pollen Puff more consistently with Vespiquen. And of course, my leads were, well, bad.
Obviously, I got very, very unlucky with Bronzong being frozen all battle. I actually think if he'd woken up even a turn earlier, I might have won.
But the main lessons I've learned are about team building. First, I was wrong to assume everyone would go for Hippowdon. Picking my Pokemon first, I could have got a really solid Sand team if I wanted, but I discredited it because I thought everyone would fight over it, and that was wrong. Additionally, whilst I love Medicham as a Pokemon, it isn't that good competitively, and with Jolteon left at the end, I probably would have been better going for the other special sweeper rather than a Pokemon that has a good move, Fake Out, but isn't that good to use it. On the other hand, Vespiquen ended up being pretty good. Even though it's normally not a Pokemon you'd see in competitive battling, it could do enough valuable things to make it worth it. But my main lesson was to stick to a team concept. Bronzong would have been much better on a Trick Room team or a Sand team or something that better utilised his strengths. But then I defaulted to getting the other Pokemon I wanted originally. So as it stood, he was, putting aside the freeze, a decent bulky wall, but hardly the star player of my team like you'd want from the first Pokemon I drafted. Lessons learned for next time. That's it for today, I'm afraid, but thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. If you're eager for the next Choose Your Own Adventure, don't worry, that's coming. That project takes a little bit longer, so I'm just trying some other stuff in the meantime. But let me know your thoughts down below, and until next time, this is me and Corsola, signing out.